Welcome Homeworthy. My name is Ruth McKeaney and we're here on Hillside Farm and we are so excited for the holidays. We've got all our kids home, so it's about memory making and all your family traditions. Today we're going to be making 3 recipes which are pretty important, part of a staple of our family, especially this time of year, so I'm going to share those with you. Then my husband and I are going to sit down and kind of talk through what our family traditions are and how they might be an encouragement to you. So come get in the holiday spirit with us. I'm Ruth McKeaney, and this year I'm inviting Homeworthy to join my family for all of our annual highlights at Hillside Farm, our 305-year-old farmhouse steeped in history and love. After decades of flipping houses, my husband Bob and I settled here where we raised our 5 children. And this year you'll join us for holiday gatherings and the upcoming wedding of our daughter, happening right here at Hillside, where we welcome your company as we share in the simple pleasures of life at home. I'll offer tips from my book, Hungry for Home, to help infuse your own home with moments of joy, filling home-cooked meals with flavor for the whole family, and of course decorating with amazing antique finds. So sit back and make yourself at home.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Welcome Homeworthy. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, Avery and I are going to be making one of our very favorite family recipes for an appetizer, especially during football season. And today, all the kids are home for the holidays, so they'll be outside playing football, and we're going to make some buffalo chicken dip. So welcome, Avery. All right, so Avery is newly home from her wedding. We just had that, gosh, how long has it been?
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. And we've been so fortunate to have she and Zach home for the holidays along with all the other kids. This is a recipe we have made for a very long time. My cousin Lori, who I think got it from her sister-in-law Chris, I think. Yes. Anyway, it's famous in my cousin the Helms' house, and it's become famous in our house, which is a buffalo chicken dip. My kids love wings.
I make it all the time.
She makes it all with all her friends in Chicago. So it's really fantastic. For today's purposes, though, we are going to double the recipe because we have a lot of hungry people. But give us what the normal recipe would be on this.
So typically you first start with the chicken, and I think it's about like 2 cups.
3 cups
of chicken, but if you use canned, then it's like 2 10-ounce cans. But we typically use around 3 cups of chicken per serving, and then...
Because we use either a rotisserie chicken or we shred our own chicken, but the cans are often used as well.
That can just be the easiest.
Yes. So
sometimes.
for today, we've got about 6 cups of cooked shredded chicken.
And then it's 1.5 cups of shredded cheese, and you typically use 2 blocks of cream cheese. And then 3/4 a cup of Red Hot and 1 cup of ranch.
So for doubling purposes, though, it's going to be more for us today. How do we start? Go ahead and walk us through this.
So first you start with
throwing in the chicken.
You literally just pour all the chicken in. And then you go with the Red Hot because you want the Red Hot to
The Red Hot is what gives it the buffalo taste, right?
Yes. So again, we're doubling it, so we're using more than...
So how much are you putting in, doubling it?
1.5 cups, right?
And I think one of the things I love about this recipe is you can do it to taste. Some people like it spicier and really hot. Some people, like myself, like it with more cream cheese or ranch and just don't quite like the kick. But my kids like a kick, so...
Especially Zach.
Especially, yeah. Her new husband does not like kick. So, all right, how many? So we've got 4 blocks of cream cheese.
We might just a lot.
You want me to put them in?
Okay. Next, you kind of can just join it all together. So we'll do 4 cups or 4 blocks of cream cheese. And then
let's go ahead. Do you want to mash these at all in there, or are you add?
They have to just heat up. We might have to put the top on so they melt. And then 2 cups of ranch.
It doesn't take long to make, which is really nice. And again,
Mama, do you mind grabbing the other ranch?
No, I don't mind at all. So you can use any kind of ranch. In fact, today we're using 2 different kinds because we ran out of one. So just use your favorite ranch, and you can make that by homemade or you can make store-bought. So today we have 2 different store-bought ranches. Now all of this is going to heat. Your cream cheese is going to melt and make a really thick base.
Oops. Typically you put the cream cheese in after you mix the ranch and Red Hot but that's okay.
Again, it all melts together and it's fantastic. So my son used to insist every time it was football Sunday that we get wings. And we ordinarily do because now he gets like a spicy chili or Thai. But he also loved the original hot wings. And so doing this dip just makes everybody happy. And again, you throw together a big bowl of chips, tortilla chips, and you have this dip. And I don't care who you're rooting for on a particular Sunday, they will love this recipe.
I'm gonna let it.
All right, we're gonna let it simmer for a little bit and kind of let everything melt, and then we're gonna check it in about 1 minute. Should we break up some of the cream cheese?
I did.
You did. Okay, I think the dip is just about done and it's all incorporated and very delicious. But we're gonna do our final ingredient, which is cheese. I tend to use shredded cheese instead of the pre-shredded cheese, just because it tends to melt evenly over the whole thing, and I just like it that way. So get a block of cheese. About how much cheese are we talking about?
In 1 serving size is about 1.5 cups, but we're doubling it, so we're using 3. And typically you put half of it, you mix half of it into
your mixture?
The mixture, and then you spread half of it on top
on top,
and let
okay.
it cook through.
And are we talking, do we use a sharp, a medium, or a mild cheddar?
Whatever
Doesn't
you
matter,
want.
whatever you want. Again, you can do anything you want in this recipe, which is what makes it so much fun. Now, what you can do after she puts the cheese on top is have your oven going to about 350 and put it in. You can have it just kind of melt the cheese that way, or we keep it on top of the stove and just put the lid on top. It will melt itself, and then you're ready to go. As soon as that game has started or they're done playing outside, serve them with your very favorite tortilla chips, and they are going to thank you, I promise. Okay, Avery is going to go change, get ready into some football gear to play outside, and send her sister Audrey in, who's going to help me surprise Zach with these amazing, they're called glass pecans, that we're going to make to surprise him to take home to Chicago. All right, thanks, Ave. So let's go see if Audrey's ready. I'm excited to talk about this next recipe because there was not a pecan in the world that I could say I liked before this recipe. I didn't like pecan pie. I didn't like pecans on salads. I didn't like pecans on cheese balls. I just didn't like pecans. And I was visiting a friend of mine named Sarah in Texas, and I was starving. And she had someone bring out some nuts, and I ate it, and I said, "What is this?" It is one of the best things I've eaten as far as nuts. And she said, it's like, they're called glass nuts, which are pecans that are kind of candied. Well, I asked the chef that was there if he'd be willing to share with me how he did it. So he did. And once I found out that my new son-in-law loved pecans, I thought, perfect treat to send him home back to Chicago with when he leaves our house. So I'm going to have Audrey come in, one of my daughters, who's going to help me do it because it's kind of a two-man project in some respects. And Audrey, all right. And I'm going to teach her in the process because she hasn't done it either. Hey, girl.
Hi.
How are you? Mwah. So Audrey's in from school as well. In fact, she takes the train back tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Avery and Zach head home tonight. So we have the crew here just basically this weekend, and we're doing everything we can to celebrate and do our traditions. So here we go. What goes in this recipe is pecans, avocado oil, powdered sugar, water. I mean, it's that simple. You start out by this. Let me walk you through this. All right. You boil pecans, just take a big bag of pecans in salt water. You boil them for about 4 minutes. And what this does is it blanches the pecans and it takes some of the bitterness out. Audrey's going to go ahead
and like start scooping them out of the salt water after they've been
boiled.
So they've been boiling for about 4 minutes. And again, that's a necessary part of this process. As she pulls this out, I am going to get a container like this with powdered sugar. Throw in, I've made a lot because we're going to be giving some of this away. So a couple of cups of powdered sugar in here. Excuse this mess that I'm already making. While we're doing this, I have avocado in a pan at high heat getting ready to boil. It's going to be frying these pecans very rapidly. But the next process here, all right, can you pour about half of that in here?
Yes.
You got it. All right, stop. Now, do me a favor.
I'm going to shake it?
Yeah. Shake this as hard as you can. Get them all covered. I'm going to wipe this up. I am telling you, if you eat these, you can serve these at all your holiday parties. You can take them, wrap them up in fun paper if you're needing a hostess gift, but they are so good, I promise. And I'm telling you, I don't like pecans.
It was funny because honestly, almost no one in our family likes
Nobody
pecans.
likes pecans, and yet
I had never tried one before she made these because honestly they're kind of scary. But now we all love them.
Scary.
Well, and now I've opened them. Now I've tried other pecans and they're really good.
Okay, so you've shaken them. Now I want you to take these. Grab one of the big spoons. Hang on, because he's going to come around that way. And start just ladling them in there and letting them fry.
How much?
Now we're going to let them fry for about 5 to 8 minutes.
How much of it should I? Just so
Just
it covers
fill
the bottom?
Just fill it.
Okay.
All right, let's start with that so it has room.
To be
All right,
covered by the
5
oil.
to 8 minutes. And the timing begins now. What I've done, as those are cooking for 5 to 7 minutes, is I've gotten something. I don't have a cooling rack per se, but I've gotten this used for grilling, because what we're going to do is put all the almonds or the pecans in here, and I put some paper towels on top of a board that'll absorb some of the grease as it drops. But this just helps
To strain it out.
to strain all of it out. Yeah. So Sarah and I were sitting there, and dinner wasn't going to be for a long time, and she had these nuts sitting out, and I was like,
It's been really desperate.
I was really desperate. And so I was like, I'll try one. And I'm telling you, within 5 minutes, I had eaten her whole bowl. I was so embarrassed. And she was like, oh, don't worry, I'll refill it. So she refills the bowl, and I proceeded to literally eat her out of house and home of these. They were so good. They're crunchy, they're candied, and
They're not too
they're
sugary
not
and sweet.
too sugary, because
Like, a
you
lot
and
of the
I don't
time-
like sugary sweet.
Like, we've had the ones from Costco where it's like the container of like candied pecans, and they're just like covered in like brown sugar and stuff, which like can be good, but these are lighter.
No.
So
And
it's
this is one of those daughters of mine that is helping encourage me. Not that I'm relatively
No,
healthy.
you're good. You're
I'm
good.
really good, but she's gotten much more into eating healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And less sugar, making sure the oils are the right oils. And so that's why today we are using avocado oil. Although that's how the chef told me to use it. So
Oh,
it's
really?
all good.
The
Yeah,
chef did?
he did.
Avocado is good because it doesn't have distinct flavor like olive oil does, so you
Olive
can't
oil has a
necessarily
distinct
use
flavor, and vegetable oil isn't really good for you.
Isn't really good for you, or just
It's bad for you.
There you go.
All right, now you don't want to cook these too long because you don't want them to burn, but you do want them to get to the point where they're just crispy. So I'm guessing we have about 1 to 2 minutes left. So what kind of things do you want to take back to school with you that we've made over the
Oh
holidays?
gosh, well, I'm taking almond roca back.
Almond
For
roca.
sure.
Almond roca is another one of our family traditions, and Bob and I made 10 trays of it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
an English toffee.
It's so good. That
Yeah.
peppermint bark.
Peppermint.
Francesca also loves peppermint bark.
So Audrey and I made some peppermint bark the other day with some dark chocolate, peppermint candy,
A
white
little bit
chocolate.
of white. Yeah,
Okay.
and I love peppermint, so that'll be the top of my list. Honestly, probably some of these.
Yep.
These are gonna be so.
And then
good.
you're back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right. All right, let's give it 1 more minute, and we're going to strain them out onto this. All right, there you go.
Why is it doing that?
It's because it's wet with the water. Try not to layer them. Try to get them all.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you wanted more of the oil.
All right, she's going to start the next batch. I'm literally going to just
Or we
make
gotta
it
shake
pretty.
them in the.
Did you already shake those? No. Yeah, then here. But I am just going to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on these just to make them pretty. As soon as these cool, I'm telling you, you are going to love them. You're even going to crave them, and you might eat them when you wake up in the morning. All right, Audrey is probably going to be shushed out of the kitchen and getting her football clothes on to join everybody outside. And Bob and I are going to set this whole island up for something that I think might become one of your favorite family traditions after you see it. And that's making the cinnamon rolls. All right, thanks, baby girl.
Love you.
All right. And now to the crowning glory of all of our traditions, memories. The thing we look forward to the most during the year are these cinnamon rolls. And I think it's because it goes back literally generations. I think it was my great aunt who gave this recipe to the family and would make it at all family reunions. So we do birthdays. These are what make holidays holiday in our house. And years ago, 25 years ago maybe, well, when Bob and I first got married, so 26 since our anniversary was yesterday, 26 years ago, Bob and I decided we wanted to start giving them away on Christmas Eve. So I want to invite him in right now so he can help me prep this table and share a little bit about that story. Bob?
Kids are ready to go outside and play some pickleball.
Oh, the kids are going out to play some pickleball and then some football. So we might hear a lot of noise. All right, as they go out to play, we are going to get the prep work done because they're going to come in and do the hard, well, I think we do the hard work. They're going to come in and do the fun work.
We've been doing the hard work for a lot of years.
We've been doing the hard work for a lot of years.
We give them a lot of credit.
We do. So here, come on, swing over here. Let me get this out of the way. All right, this recipe takes the entire island, and Bob is going to work on getting these things ready. And let me walk you through what we're doing. First of all, we started by putting a tablecloth on our island because when I tell you this makes a mess, we've had up to 20 people around this island making these sweet rolls. And hands are going everywhere, cinnamon, sugar, water, it becomes a mess. So we started using a tablecloth and it's made it, don't you think, it's better?
Oh, we find less sugar and
yeah,
stuff
in the crevices,
in the crevices of this table when we're done.
Yeah.
So it just makes it a lot easier to clean up, makes it a lot just
So what
organized.
we do, here's what we do, Christmas Eve. It used to be Christmas Eve that we would actually make this recipe as well. We don't do that anymore because it takes us so long to do the delivering. We make about 400 of these rolls every year. And on Christmas Eve, our family delivers them to certain families within the area. And our kids get to participate in choosing who gets them.
Yeah, it's a time of giving. It's a time of just blessing others with something that we're so fortunate with this recipe. It's part of our family. Mm-hmm. And our kids have inputs as to who in the neighborhoods receive these sweet rolls. And on Christmas Eve,
it's really fun. He gets out a map. He literally makes a map up.
Yeah, we've had to, you take a map and you say, okay, we have to deliver to these 12 or 13 houses, and how do we do it most efficiently as to how do we get to each house?
It might be all over the city.
So it takes about 2 hours, and we will
3 hours,
have the back of we have a Sprinter van, and we load up the back of the Sprinter van with all 12 or 13 sets of rolls, and literally we drive from house to house, and the kids are the ones who hop out, grab the rolls, and run to the front door, knock, and drop off the sweet rolls with directions on the front on how to cook them or prepare them the next morning.
We take jars of heavy whipping cream because that's how you're going to prepare them. What these will do overnight is, so they'll stay in our freezer from now until Christmas Eve. We're going to make the rolls. The kids are going to come in and do that in a few minutes. But we make the rolls, we freeze it as is, and then when we deliver it, they're frozen, and we deliver it with a little ball jar of heavy whipping cream with instructions as to how to let them rise overnight, how to cook them in the morning, and how to present them. So it's just so much fun to share who we are with other people. And Christmas is about giving. And I think this is one of the ways we give of ourselves Christmas Eve, when everyone else is in a flurry getting everything wrapped. Our little, mice or little elves are out delivering these to people's doorsteps. We've had people call us and say, are we still on your list? But he says 12. When you take 400 rolls divided by 24, there's a whole lot more pans than 12. So there's a lot of pans that go out.
Well, there's also people that live far away.
That's right.
Are you going to be close by anytime?
That's right. Can you swing by and pick up your rolls? So here we go. You're going to start out with lots of sugar. I'm not going to give you an exact amount because there's no exact amounts. Lots of cinnamon. So we get a big old thing at Costco. Lots of sugar. Now you're going to have light brown sugar and butter. So, we start out with sticks and sticks of butter. Per pan, each pan is going to make 24 rolls. So he's going to melt a stick and pour it in. Now, when I was young and my dad used to be doing this, we would let each stick soften, and he would put it so meticulously all over the pan and on the bottom, and then we'd sprinkle the brown sugar. We've realized we don't have to do that anymore. So he's going to melt each stick. We're going to put them into this container and then add the brown sugar.
Roughly how long, sweetheart?
Just melt it. So it's probably going to take you about a minute and a half.
Okay.
So he'll melt the brown sugar, bring it over. And then what we're going to do is put about a little under a cup of light brown sugar on top of the butter. And that's what each one of these pans are that have already been done. My daughter very sweetly started us on this morning because, again, it takes us a while to get everything prepped and ready for the onslaught. So here we go. Now, you have to prep by doing your cinnamon sugar. I take a big bowl, I pour a whole bunch of sugar. Then I add cinnamon. Now again, it's gonna be a lot of cinnamon. It's gonna look like a lot. Some people like super cinnamony cinnamon rolls. Some don't like it so much. So it really is to your eye. All right, you wanna explain what you're doing right there?
Well, you're the expert at this.
I know, let me get the cup measure for you.
But I thought you just said you don't measure.
Oh, I measure the brown sugar. Go ahead, Bob.
So in this pan, we put the butter, which I just melted. Not completely melted, but almost. Make sure it's evenly dispersed throughout. And how much?
I'm going to do the brown sugar if you want to keep going and melting the butter.
Okay, then I'll go back to what I was good at.
All right, let's get this stuff out of the way. So the point is, make it as dark or as light as you would like. We're then, before the onslaught, we're going to put these in several different bowls because people are going to have stations up and down this table. This is going to be so much fun for you to do with your kids. And then next to every bowl of sugar and cinnamon is going to be another bowl of water. So you'll see all this later when everyone comes in. But in the meantime, we've got one stick of butter melted. I'm going to move that around a little bit so it goes onto the sides as well so the rolls don't stick to that. And then I'm going to get a little less than a cup of brown sugar, just a little less, and put it all over this. And this is kind of the base for the cinnamon rolls. Okay? And we're going to do this to all 16 or 17 pans, however many. We're going to do this. We've got the table ready to go, but the kids are still out playing. We're going to walk down to the barn. I want to show you some pots and how you don't neglect the outside, even though it's wintertime. The holidays, what you do with your pots or the outside of your house can just make everything so special. And Bob and I are going to talk a little bit about our family traditions and show you how we've decorated the barn. So come on outside. Okay, remember, don't forsake your pots in the Christmas time. They can just make everything so festive. So here, just take things that are on your property naturally. All these greens, we've got lights that plug in so it lights up from the bottom. And then, get all your berries outside. And these curly willow, they stand about 6 feet tall and they just make a statement. Hey baby.
Hey.
Talking about the pots. And I'll show you another pot as we go down to the barn. Come on this way. Like I mentioned before about pots and not ignoring them in the winter, these can be so festive. Again, greens that you probably have in your own yard, big pine cones, And magnolia. Ask a friend that might have a magnolia tree. This is a more short, stout pot, so it's kind of wider. And it's just gorgeous. Find some moss. You can go to any outdoor store, get moss, put it around the base, and it's just stunning. And then one of my very favorite outdoor stores is by the name of Terrain, and they give you so many ideas. They're phenomenal, and they've got these really fun lights. So we put these fun lights up here just to make things really special. But come into the barn because Bob and I are going to show you a little bit how we decorated, and we want to talk to you about our family traditions. Okay, it's that time of year. You know, Bob and I were talking about this. We talk about it often. Our family, one of our focuses is trying to be on others, but it's the time of year where it's more naturally to think about others, because as excited as we might get for the holidays, it's really a very hard time of year for a lot of people. You know, my mom passed away, 19 years ago probably, so my dad's been alone all that time. There are people who have lost people who might be single parents, or holidays don't always meet people's expectations. So we're always trying to be very mindful of other people and not missing the one that is quiet or the one that's not saying anything, because this time of year can be hard. So if I can encourage you even right now is think in your life, who do you know that might not have anyone? Who in your neighborhood might not or might be alone for the holidays? And think of a way to make an extra effort to love on those people.
Just little blessings that go a long way. Sometimes it's just 10 minutes or 5 minutes, or even pulling people's trash cans back, or the simplest. What can you do with little kids to help encourage serving others?
We even talked last night as a family, or it was this morning, you know, just are you aware when you're in the grocery store, somebody who might not look happy? So that's my encouragement. But for us this time of year also has to do a lot with our family traditions, because so many of it start with I mean, we have a lot of traditions throughout the year, but the holidays really can bring those on. And it starts with the day after Thanksgiving when I wrap the door. We have 2 doors into our dining room, and we wrap them up like a Christmas gift. I actually had Bob do it for me.
So this is, you know, you wonder how traditions start. This is the funniest one, where we have an apartment above our kitchen, and we used to wrap all the gifts there, and on Christmas Day, Christmas morning, we used to then go up to this apartment and drag all the gifts down to the tree. And it was probably 10, 12 years ago that we realized our dining room, which has 2 doors to it, was sitting right next to where our tree is, and we thought, wouldn't it be great to wrap the doors that lead to this dining room so it makes it look like a big present? This room is the present.
Well, and because I think, and I can just speak for myself, Christmas is so much about the anticipation of, not even necessarily the final gifts. So what that does is create expectation and excitement from your kids. From the time they were little, they knew whatever was going on behind those doors, you weren't allowed to know till Christmas Day. So we start that off, and then we'll just kind of go through a couple of things. On Christmas Eve, we make about 400 sweet rolls.
Well, not Christmas Eve. We make them
ahead of time.
Ahead of time, and so we have about 400 sweet rolls, and we have them in pans of 24, and we choose 10 to 15 families that we want to bless. And on Christmas Eve, we will drive from door to door, and
like we were talking about when we were making them.
Yes.
So it's just part of, and it's also bringing our family together to make them. So it's part of not only our tradition of doing it together, but people get to share in it. And then we come home from driving all over Christmas Eve, and we always have Chinese food. So we put out our best china and all candles, it's candlelit, and we have dinner together. And then
we watch White Christmas together, but before that, all the kids make a bed on the floor.
Of where?
Of the living room, right in front of the fire. And we actually make a bed for ourselves. You know, back when the early years, we actually would fall asleep because the kids would take them a lot longer to fall asleep because of anticipation of Christmas. But we all make a bed and we all lay there and watch the White Christmas on TV. and some kids make it through the whole movie, some make it the first 15 minutes, but it's just the idea of being together.
Like a giant slumber party.
Like making the sweet rolls, as you saw, is all the kids together. It's just doing something together. It's just encouraging family environments.
So even now, the in-laws will sleep in the same room with everybody else. So it'll be fun. And we open one giant gift Christmas Eve. It has the book of the year we're going to read together as a family. It has a game of the year we're going to play together. And then, we make a puzzle. Yeah. So I take a family picture from the year that's been one of our favorites, and I have a puzzle made out of it. And then usually I throw in a pair of socks for each person.
But who opens it?
Oh, go ahead.
So there's a German tradition, it's called the pickle, and this is a pickle ornament. It's about 2 to 3 inches high, and it's the exact color of a tree. And when we decorated our tree the other day, we put that pickle on there so all the kids see it in anticipation of Christmas Eve. But on Christmas Eve, they all leave, and I go and hide that pickle somewhere on the tree so nobody can find it, or the hardest place possible. And depending on the levels of the kids, I never hide it higher than the shortest kid. And then we bring them into the room and they all search the tree, and sometimes it takes 30 seconds, sometimes 3 to 4 minutes, but whoever finds that pickle, they're the person who opens the family gift.
So we get the family gift, and then we all sleep in the same living room, and we wake up, one of their godmothers puts a gift at the end of every one of their sleeping bags. It's the first thing they open Christmas morning. We read the Christmas story, and away it begins. We open each gift one at a time, so everyone gets equal focus. But again, I want to bring it back to, what are the holidays about? What are you celebrating for? What do the holidays represent? For us, it's Christmas, and it's the birth of Jesus, but it's also about home and bringing people home and making people feel at home who may not even be a part of your family. So we're going to go in now. I think the kids might be outside playing some football, and we're going to get going on all the sweet rolls that we're going to make, and we're going to freeze for Christmas Eve. So join us in the kitchen. Okay, this is the sweet roll. We got everybody here. We have Anders, Zach, Scotty, Chris, Alex, Avery, and Audrey, and Bob and I. And here we go. It starts out with these. You can get whatever dinner rolls you want. They're frozen dough. You can even get the dough logs, and you can cut them into 12. Starting out with these, you got your cinnamon sugar, your water, your brown sugar, and butter. All right, go ahead. So explain. Who wants to? Alex, Scotty, do one of you want to explain? Or Avery? Start explaining what you're doing.
Stretch it out a little more. Then you roll it in these bowls that have the cinnamon and sugar. You toss it around the nose, and then you tie a knot. Once you have a knot tied, like this, you place it in the tin. We're going to collect everybody. We're going to head down to the barn. We're going to have some buffalo chicken dip and talk about what we're anticipating for Christmas and what we're looking forward to. Come join us in the barn. One of the reasons we put the fireplace in the barn and a TV is for days like this, when their favorite football team is playing, and we all get to join and have
buffalo dip. All right, we are so happy to have you guys here. Chris and Zach, we're so happy to have you as part of our family. And thank you for coming home. It's so good to see you guys. And next stop is out west. So have some chicken dip and we love you. We love you.
Again.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.